Hi everyone, it is Mickey here from A Pretty Talent in the Waterwell Ministries, and I am back with the fourth video in the Trash to Treasure series, and we're putting the final touches on our prayer parcel today. So I have kind of crowded myself here a bit, but I will show you now what it is that we're doing. So in video one, we've created this little journal from toilet paper rolls into toilet paper rolls. In video two, which was a more extensive one, we made these little transformative tags, transformation of the mind. In video three, we worked with God's promises in our lives and sort of dealt with our own lives and whatever it was, and made these journaling bookmarks for ourselves. And this is actually just now for me, so mine is still slightly wet. That's why I'm kind of looking at them like that. Okay, but today we are going to be working with this little parcel, this little container of ours, this folder, if you like. And we are going to be looking at what we need to do with this. Now, I'm looking at mine and I can see that my tape has actually taken well. Now, I know that this tape doesn't necessarily take well. Sometimes it doesn't want to stick properly. So that's one of the first things you will need to do. You will need to investigate your tape and see if you need to glue it into your journal. Other things you will need to check is to see that all of these areas, these folds, have glued down properly. And also the paper on your parcel itself, is it glued down properly? I think I've already glued this one down. I don't know, I might be mistaken. I journal a lot, so I can't remember what I do for whatever. Now, depending on what you've received, you may want to do a corner rounder. My corners are already rounded. They're not all rounded. You're going to have to decide that for yourself. And then you can decide if you want to give your folder a bit of a distressed look by inking the edges. And if the answer to that is yes, then obviously going to ink it. And if it is no, then you're going to not bother with the inking of the edges. Now the inking is going to have to be on both sides. So that is something you want to bear in mind. Oh, there are loads of ways of inking, but I find this is certainly one of the easiest ways to simply drag the ink pad over the areas that you want to have inked. Now, okay, that's the bottom. Kind of forgot about that, but okay. Now this here, I would actually ideally like to have this inked as well. So I'm now going to try and maneuver into this area here. How am I going to achieve that? I know I'm going to achieve that. I'm going to do this. I'll talk about this little piece of cloth just now. Everyone's going to have a piece of cloth like that. Oh, I'm not sure this is good. It's a bit of a glossy paper. No, it's not going to work. Okay, anyways, well, messed up that. Not particularly fond of what I did there. And this might be easier to achieve, oops, with an actual blending brush. But I'm not going to go for the blending brushes now. I'm going to struggle. I'm going to make this work. I think I'm even off camera here in my struggle. My apologies for that. I don't want to pull the journal apart either. I mean, okay, anyways, that'll do it. This is not good. It's good enough. Now, you have the option, and I've considered, should I do something here? And I thought, no, this is a very busy paper. So I'm going to refrain from working on this fold as well. If you want to, of course you can. I've given a lot of thought. Now, every person is going to get a piece of fabric. This happens to be one that I've, okay, here's my offcut pieces. And so this can be foul leather, it can be something shiny, it can be something, what is this? I don't know, furry, I guess, I don't know. It can be any kind of cloth, kind of luck of the draw. What you find, this is cotton, can be anything. Right, I'm going to use my offcuts. I'm not going to cut into my proper fabric. I'm bumping the camera here, my apologies for that. But I'm going to give every person a piece of offcut fabric that you can work with. And then I'm going to go into my lace. And every person is going to get a tiny piece of lace, not a humongous piece, just a tiny piece of lace. My goodness, because is lace expensive? Let me cut this one here. Okay. I wanted to give everyone this as well, but I don't have enough of those, so that will not be going in. Oh, I like this. Not straight. Here's another idea. Or straight. I don't know. Okay, so we're doing a bit of a collage here. We're going for texture in the collage. Okay. Everyone will also be getting, let me just put that away because I am so crowding myself here. Everyone is going to be getting one of what I call my silly flowers. So a silly flower is literally, this is a misprint. So at the back of this paper, it's a misprint. Can you see that one is clearer? Then I take these papers and I paint them with watercolors or acrylics, or I dye them with coffee or whatever. These I think is a mixture of watercolor and acrylics, if I look at them. And then I do the quickest, most random, silliest little flowers that you can imagine, and also centers. And I cut them out. And I use a split pin to put them together, to turn them into flowers. And they're all sizes, all shapes and sizes. Oh, this is something interesting. This is a soda can that I have punched out with my paper punch. And instead of one of these paper centers, I've given it a tin can center. It's all the same idea. All of them, the same sort of idea. And strips of paper, offcut strips of paper. If I have offcut strips of paper, I fold them. There's a funny strip of paper lying here. I literally fold them like this, and this is a bit big now, but a bit wide. Well, you can work with white paper as well, but and until they form a circle. Sort of, if this one runs out, I'm going to add another piece of paper until I've got a full circle, a rosette, if you like. And then I put them together with either two circles that I've punched out, or in this case a tin can that I've punched out, and a split pin. And these become little rosettes or flowers or whatever you want to call them. So everyone will be receiving one of these silly flowers, and I know they are silly, but honestly they took me a tremendous amount of time to make, but they're made out of trash, and that's the theme of this the Soul series. Now let me put this aside so I can show you this first. I'm starting to compile a collage here. And it might still change, but I'm just starting with this. Now, I went to the, what do you call this? The charity store. And I bought some old discarded puzzles. So these are two puzzles. One is a wooden puzzle and one is a thick cardboard puzzle. And I don't know if all the pieces were still in the boxes. I didn't check. I wasn't going to build the puzzles. I wanted to use these to create ephemera for journals and things with. And so what I did was I came home and I printed a bunch of pictures that I liked, that appealed to me, in nine pictures to a page, that size. I don't know what it is. On an A4, it's a printer setting. If you go to your printer settings, you can see you can print 9 to a page, and that's the setting I used. And then I decoupaged these pictures onto the puzzle pieces. Now, sometimes they don't fill the whole puzzle piece, and that's okay, because if I don't point this out to you, it really isn't obvious. And sometimes they do, and it's fantastic. And you need to kind of play around with your picture. They won't always be able to go on straight, but see what's the best fit you can find. Now, on odd occasions, I've saved the white side of the puzzle. In the wooden side, this was a really silly, childish puzzle. So the wooden puzzle, I've kept the wooden side, but there's a person's name was written on the back of each of these. So if that's going to bug you, you will have to paint over it or use your alcohol markers over it, or obscure it in some way or another. In other instances, I've retained, with the cardboard puzzle, I've retained the cardboard side. Now, this is because I would find this is pretty. So there's no reason to obscure this. I will have to come in with alcohol markers or paint or ink or something and fill up these white spaces here. That's the thinking there. So there's some work left on these. Then I used my rotary drill tool. And I think it's the first time I used it. I've had it for years. But in any case, I used that to drill little holes into the puzzles on two sides. Let me just throw that aside. And this is actually from a previous workshop, leftovers from a previous workshop, but they will serve to show you what we then intend to do. Now, all we've done here is pasted a little sticker on here, in which we've written a word. Vrede is peace. Focus is focus. And this one, that's God's, and that's a little clock. So that's God's time. And this one is actually the wrong way around. This is supposed to go in the back. Well, okay, it is this way now. It's a transparent ribbon that I've got in here, so it doesn't matter. Now you can use elastic or you can use ribbon, it doesn't matter. But you're going to put this together, and then this side we've just got a button to kind of keep everything together. This happens to be a cardboard button, it can be an actual real button. We're just keeping things together. And essentially what's going to happen, this becomes part of your collage. That's why we're not making the collage too busy here. I'm going to use this one because it's an easy one to fix. It's not the right size. Like I said, it wasn't made for this one. And once you've sort of stuck down your collage, you're going to put this one, it will lie something like this, and this is going to keep your whole parcel closed. It becomes the closure for your parcel. And then your pre-parcel looks gorgeous. So everyone will be receiving all the necessary bits and bobs to make this. But let me show you how we do this. It is going to be excessively simple. We are going to simply glue the fabric. There's something stuck on my glue here. You're simply going to glue the fabric onto our cover. And I'm kind of thinking I don't want it exactly straight. Then we're going to come in with the lace. I like off center. So now the lace is slightly problematic, so let me rather do this. The lace, this glue will dry clear, but for a while then it is going to be problematic while it's wet. While it's wet, I'm going to have to be careful with this so that it doesn't stick to every single thing. It will dry clear. Not going to overthink that glue. This one, well, now I sort of have to think what I want to do here. Oh, goodness gracious me. Yeah, over there should be fine. Now I do need to consider, this is maybe a large one. The smaller ones I think will be easier to work with. I just grabbed it. And I am gluing this all over because it's a flimsy printer paper. If it doesn't sit down properly on your journal, on your folder, where it lifts, it's bound to tear at some point. Okay. Now I have just realized that as much as I thought I had all the necessary pieces here to do this with, I don't, because I was using the finished pieces to do this with, and I shouldn't have. I'm going to go with this one. I like that. I like that. Okay, so you're going to get, I don't know, ribbon or elastic, whatever, and you're going to pull this through from the back, this end of the ribbon. It's not difficult because the holes are big enough. And then again, pull it through from the back. You're just sort of scrunching it up and then pushing it through. Catching it on the other end. If I can just do what I'm telling you to do. Why are you not working with me, ribbon? Here it comes. Okay, so you want the ribbon to run at the back of this. Not like this one that's running across your picture. Don't know what I was thinking there. Anyways, I'm going to show you if I take, let's take a rather vivid color, vivid purple. Did I use this one in the previous? I think so. I think I used this exact one in the previous video as well. I'm not going to take the ribbon out again. And ideally I should have done this before I put the ribbon in, of course. But I didn't. So now I'm working around the ribbon. And the color is so similar to the ribbon that I'm quite sure that I'm messing the ribbon up, but it's not even going to matter because the color is the same. Well, now I can certainly pull it through to the other side, and it's going to be out of my way. Okay. So I'm just obscuring that name. It's not going to disappear altogether. I don't know who this bloke was, and I don't know how old he was when he had this puzzle or whatever it is, but he is no longer playing with it. And yeah, it's now my plaything. If you really want to. Oh, and this is so overkill. So excessively overkill. But I know there's going to be people out there who's... I can still read the name. Well, yeah. So then do this. Doesn't have to be a flower. I kind of like this now. That's why I'm developing it further. Because I like doodling flowers. And I'm now going to be excessively stupid. But I've started this. And it's ridiculous what I'm doing. This is not part of the course. I'm not going to give everyone a white pen to finish this with. But since I've started it, oh my word, I cannot just leave good enough be, can I? Well, that's cute. Okay, and the white kind of lifts the purple through again, but anyway, okay, right. Not part of the lesson. What I wanted to show you is you can obscure the name if it bugs you. You don't have to. We don't have to be so pedantic about stuff. And honestly, I would have left it. And then I thought, well, maybe just show what you can do. But in any case, okay, so that's the idea here. Now, wait, this is still wet. Right, well, okay. Let me quickly stop the video and I'll start it again because I want to show you how I do this. And I need to get a button and I need to get a couple of things which I forgot to gather. So let me quickly get that and I'll get back to you again. Okay, so let me continue. I've gathered all the stuff that I needed. And here's the idea. So you will get a little sticker label like this. Pull one of the sheets out. And on this label, you are going to write something. Let me do that first. I've decided not to go for the flowers because we've used that kind of thing before in the journal. So instead, I went for this sticker, a roll of stickers. And they've got all sorts of Bible verses on them. These are the, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think there's 10 or 12 different ones in the roll. And I thought maybe rather stick down one of these sort of sayings. That some of them are verses, some of them are just sayings. Faithful in prayer. God is love. I will always have hope. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. I like that one for this whole trash to treasure thing. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life and so on and so forth. God bless you and whatever. So let me take the top one because I've often been accused of being selective. I choose the best for myself. I don't. But even if I did, it is mine. But I don't because I challenge myself as much as I challenge anyone who participates in my journaling classes. Now, that might not be the right place to stick it. So, faithful in prayer. Well, it is a prayer parcel, so that's a good one as well, actually. So, I'm going to write something like, no. You know what would be best? Oh, goodness, I'm so going to pull this off here. If it will comply, it won't completely. Now I'm going to bring this one in here. And I have now literally made this as difficult as possible for myself. Doesn't matter. I'll manage. Okay, yes. I'm going to layer them like that. That's what I'm thinking to do. Okay. Let me get these out of the way. Deal with them just now. Okay. And now I'm going to journal. And this is why I didn't want to write first, because this overlap, I may have written where this will overlap. I probably would have written. So I want to say something like, pray always, exclamation mark. And then just to fancy it up and fill that blank space, I'm going to do one of my stupid doodle flowers. Yeah, that's good enough. And now I will, oh dear. Now I first put all of my pieces back in here. Almost forgot to do that. All of my little pieces come back in here. And this needs to dry first, but I'll do this on camera and then immediately undo it again, because it really does need time to dry properly. Okay, but in any case, you are then going to come round to the back, and I suppose you could just tie a thing here. Oh, there's my button jar. I brought the button jar, and I'm sticking my hand. Oh my goodness. I don't have a needle here, so I can't just stick my hand in and pull the first button out, because I need a needle to pull the, okay, this one will work, to pull the ribbon through. And on the workshop we'll have a needle ready, but in any case, for now I'm going to use this ribbon, and instead of using the ribbon's holes, as I should, wrong way around here. Wrong way around. You've got to go in from the front to the back, from the front. And guys, these ribbon ends need to be burned, because otherwise they will unravel. They will keep unraveling on you. Oh goodness. Okay, so you're going to pull it tight, and then you're going to, this is just a fancy little way of doing something that you could just do with a bow easily enough. Twist it around. Oh, come now. And this one, oh, well, if I make it proper, this one looks better. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. Okay, and that, in essence, and then you can start playing with this, but yeah, things are starting to pull apart here. It shouldn't. That's how we finish our pre-parcel. And so, next time, we are starting in the next video on the actual journal. We were going to start putting together the actual journal. But that is next time. These are the leftover pieces from my the tags that we made. But so I've just shoved them in here because they're available for me to use in the journal now. That's it. Oh, it's wet. I'm gonna have to undo that, but this is what we look forward to in the next video. So for now, I'm going to leave you with this thought: pray always. Be faithful in prayer. Cheers, guys. See you next time.